What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don 20 Teflon. I'm back at you, another one, and this one is from episode 9, penultimate episode review, recap, and we're going to try to figure out where the hell Victor is in this video and stuff. Just want to say what up to people here. Obviously, I am joined by the one and only Phil the Issues guy. He'll be rocking with us in 1 second. LMR cannot make it. It is her father's birthday, so let's give a shout out to LMR's father. Happy birthday, sir. Hope you are doing good. Let's talk to the people. I'm muted right now. Where is it? Mute your video. Sorry, Teflon feedback. Oh, all right. Bridge, you messing with me, bro. All right. What up to my man Bridge 4 in the building rocking with us right now? Bradley Murray's in the building rocking with us right now. Jake Rudd is up in this piece rocking with us right now. Let's see. OTDA, the greatest mod of all time, is in the building with us right now. Stefan is in the building rocking with us. Isaac Alexander, my brother right here, is rocking with us right now. You know what I mean? Let's see who else we got. I mean, we got a bunch of people in here. Rachel is up in here rocking with us and everything else. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. You know what I mean? And we're going to get into all of it and stuff like that. And I am going to show myself on the camera in 1 second. I know people don't like just looking at a picture and stuff. I'll be up there and everything else. But what up to Vanessa? After we give these shout outs real quick. What up to Cheryl right here? James Price up in the building. Steven's up in here rocking with us right now. Vaughn is in the building rocking with us right now and everything, you know. So listen, I'm gonna say this straight up, man. I know there has been a lot of controversy. What up, baby? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, K Dog? What's going on? Because I know that there's been a lot of controversy about this alien stuff, right? Everyone's got something to say about it. Listen, we go figure this out with this up. All right, let's start the camera up. Let's start rolling up in this piece. Let's get this thing popping. I probably should have did this first before I started the camera, but here we go. When you do that, you know, the bad thing about that is like when you do that, oh no, when you do that, it's hard to drop the picture. Like it's in a whole different spot. So I had to go through this whole thing to drop the picture. Here I am, right here. Phil is with me right now, rocking with you know how we do. What's going on, Phil? How's everything?
Going well. How about yourself? This could be a fun episode. I'm not quite on Team Teflon 100%, but there's a lot of clues in this episode before we get into this, because I think you're about to talk about some of the alien stuff. But if you want one thing before you do this, if you haven't watched Tony's, not his last video, but 2 videos ago, he does a good job pointing out some of the hidden clues. One that you missed in that video was Ellis says something as well to Fatima about when his father got back from war. It was like coming from outer space. So there were definitely definitely a few here and there moments where I'm watching and I'm like, oh, Teflon, and then at the end with the beaming up thing or whatever that was. So I'm not all the way, but I'm way more there than last time.
There's so many people, because I guess there's some. So when people are hitting me up in the comment section saying there's somebody who claims to have seen the final episode, like what they're claiming, and that and they're saying specifically that no one's guessed what it is what they didn't give it, but you know, it's put on Reddit, but you don't know if this person's telling.
Guess what, Tony? I saw it too. I can say it
and everything. And you don't know. You know what I mean? So, and I guess people listen. Maybe y'all don't know me. Maybe y'all, maybe it's the first time, you ever took a look at my channel and talk to me and stuff. And I don't wear the glasses all the time, just when I'm wearing the stream. But in case you don't know me, but I'm just saying like this. I have been wrong on theories before. It's not going to stop me from doing it. I didn't write the show. I don't die. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. It's fun to me to come up with this stuff, but to me, everything that I've seen is pointing towards this direction, right? This is what it seems like it's pointing to me. So that is why I'm going with it. If it was something else, I would say something else, but this is what I see. I'm going with it. And as again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So what? I don't really care. I didn't write the episode. And I see other people up in the comment section say, if it's aliens, I'm never watching again. That's so like crazy. If it's not aliens, I'm still going to watch the show. It's still the same show. You know what I mean? So we'll see what it's going to be in the end. But we'll get it. We'll get it over here. Oh, people, look already. Jay Hall is hating right here. Look at this Jay Hall. Oh, setting. I ain't setting up nothing. I just told you. See what this is, Phil. I just try to come here honestly and just say,
And
listen.
I think regardless of what it is, to me, it's if they can do it right. I'm a little bit. Someone was asking what my theory was. Uh, I said it last week. Someone mentioned earlier the Truman Show kind of thing. I definitely think there's elements that they're trying to make people feel like it, but it could be both. It could be aliens that are setting up a sort of arena. I don't even think they're on Earth. I think there's another thing in this episode. I know we're just getting right in guns ablazing here, but there's when they're digging, they hit the bottom of something metal. Is at the bottom of all of this.
Something metal, ding ding, when she hits it.
Right. So something surrounding. Maybe they're in some sort of display case of some kind.
We do have a picture from Victor that we're going to pull up. I'll pull that up in a little bit. That kind of supports that suggestion that they're in there for something, you know.
They're being watched.
That they could be something else going on, that they're in somewhere and stuff like that, you know. But as I said,
you know, Jay Hall said something could be a test for Boyd.
I'm 100% confident that's going to be aliens, and that's it. But I don't want people. This is what I want you to understand, people. I don't want y'all to get disappointed if you don't get all the answers. This is only season 1.
Yeah.
I don't even think they'll tell you exactly what it's going to be this season. I think they gotta save stuff. They can't just give you all of it. Oh, you know, I think they're gonna solve the 3 questions, 2 questions that they're going to solve in this is what's at the bottom of that hole and what's going on with the watchtower.
Desmond's at the bottom of the hole.
That's what I think it's going to be when it's all said and done. Everything else, I don't think they're going to say, because you can't just give it away. Now, Phil, you watched Lost. This guy worked on Lost.
Yeah.
How long did it take for them to say exactly what was going on? They didn't do it in one season, right?
No, some would say they never did. I mean, what they would do, they'd set up little mysteries that were solved at the beginning of the season, by the end of the season, and at the end of the season, within solving the mystery, they would start a new mystery. So, for instance, spoiler alert for Lost. Season 1, they find a hatch. They find something buried in the woods, a hatch that's underground. At one point in time in the season, the hatch lights up. It's very freaking scary. At the end of the season, we finally get to see or get inside the hatch. And at the beginning of season 2, it's unlike anything we've thought. It's some dude named Desmond hanging out down there that's been there forever, eating the same food for years and years and years. So it introduces a new mystery as they answer another one. I'm hoping that some of the answers we get here is more conclusive and then we move on to something. But a couple of other interesting lines in this episode I want to point out, that when the girl is hearing the voices, there are things way worse than the monsters. That also reminds me of a Losty thing with the others, and there's things out there worse than the others. And at the beginning, when we see the black smoke monster, the polar bears, it's like you think that's the worst of it, but then it keeps getting worse. So I do think they're going to answer some stuff, but within that, I wouldn't be surprised if they just introduce a whole new mystery at the end. Like we get an answer, but it slaps us across the face with a TV dick and sets us in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I agree about the slapping in the face. That's definitely going to happen. Will Smith, alert, it's coming up right here. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they're going to answer everything. I don't think they can. I think we're going to see certain things, and it's not going to be settled. I don't think that either one way or the other. I don't think it's going to be settled. I don't see them giving it away. If it is aliens or something other than aliens, I don't think they'll give that away this season. I think it'll be a different season before they actually really drop that and everything else. But we'll see exactly what it is. So this episode was actually the shortest episode of the season. I know a lot of people got a little crazy. Oh, I didn't like this episode, but you needed this episode. This is a type of episode that gets you to the episode that we're trying to get to. It sets up the questions that they have to answer. And if they do not answer these questions, then it's plot holes, right? So there's a reason why they set it up. There's a reason why they set up these answers and everything else. And they did. Before Phil, there's this thing, comments on it. So you know, if you have a comment, you see the number going across the screen, 781-990-8509. Call in. Leave your voicemail. We're taking all the voicemails. So if you have a super long answer you don't want to put in chat, put it right in
And we
there.
already do have 2 voicemails waiting. And also, Tony, to add to that, something that's great about this show compared to most horror or mystery-based things, and this is another point where, and I don't mean to keep harping on the Lost thing, but only to say even within when Lost wasn't even at its best, the best thing that it established was characters. And I think what this show does exceptionally well right from the beginning here of this season, and it's amping it up to this point, especially with certain characters, I think it's doing a great job of making you care about these people. And to care about them, you need to have an episode like this. You need to see the reaction, a real reaction. Again, it's all about how it's done. If the acting performances weren't awesome, when you need some wood, I got some wood for you, smashing it up. That was fun. I was entertained by that just as much as I'd be entertained by furthering the monster storyline. Seeing Boyd have that interaction, I'm blanking with the girl's name, that he's on the mission with, and connecting that to his thing with his wife. I thought that all worked really well. I do also think something you said in your video, they're pretty heavy-handed that one of the voices is the wife. I don't think it is. I think whoever is in control of all of this has probed everyone's mind in some way and knows your biggest fears and weaknesses and shit like that. Someone in the live chat said maybe this is all a test for Boyd. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this is all about him somehow.
He's the hero on this hero's journey. So if you're doing the typical hero's journey arc, and you can look it up, right? I can pull up right now what a hero's journey is, and it showed you, certain points every hero has to go on his journey. He's the hero of this journey. It's him. It's Boyd, right? So that's the way it is. So yes, it is a test from him, and I agree. If it's his wife, now the voice may have imitated his wife, right? Doesn't mean it was actually his wife. So they're setting up
a trap
that his wife somehow is still alive, in some form that she could talk to.
Some non-corporeal form that she entered this thing and she's helping him from the end. No. They just know how to get to people. It's like Porn Stash and like the idiot that let the person in the, I'm gonna help you. I'll give you a handy. Tells exactly what you want to hear. And they're working through this vessel that they can speak through to try to get to Boyd. No, they know that. They were listening in the car. They heard that name. It's not that it's stuff that the wife knows. And even if they did, they probed her as they went out. Aliens, some overseer, some monster, some vampires, psychic creatures, whatever it is. They're doing it. It's a trap.
We've seen that happen with Julie. When Julie is first entering the colony house, I put this in my last video. If you haven't watched my last video, some people somehow, I guess the people got confused about it. So let me explain it to you right now. My last video I put up, I showed you that when Julie was going inside of the house, one of the monsters or aliens, whatever you want to call it, I say aliens, you want to say monsters, go right ahead, all the same, tomato, right? I said straight up, it says straight up, she looks at him and says, Julie, don't you know me? He said, you don't remember me, or something like that. I don't know exact words. You don't remember me. And then she stared, and then the dude shot him in the face. Now, listen, this is the bottom line. There's only one other boy that's in Julie's life, right, that we know about, and that's her brother who died. Now, yes, that brother died as a toddler, but he was trying to convince her that it was him grown up somehow. And that's why she stopped. There's no other boyfriend. Obviously, we see that she could be bisexual or something. There's no other. So the only person, when they say you don't know me, who do you think he's talking about? He's not talking about Ethan. He's talking about the brother that passed away. So how does he know that? He knows stuff about him. And I will say this, that, when Fatima came on here, Pega, let's call her by her real name, Pega, when she came on here, the one thing she said was that, we'll take that super chat in 1 second, Bill. But the one thing she just said, she said, the most scariest things about those monsters is that they know everything about you. That's what she said on the stream. She said, it's not the monsters itself. It's the fact that they know everything about you. So go on that, and you take it, and she worked on the show, and she said that it's pretty obvious that they would know to call Boyd that, to try to get him to turn back. And that's what they were going too far, too deep, and all of a sudden they wanted him to turn back. And maybe they thought that saying this would get him to turn
And
back.
he's too smart. He smelled bullshit right from the beginning. Right when she said that, he's like, "That's weird," but no. You can see the look in his face. He doesn't buy it. He doesn't buy that it's his wife talking or anything like that.
Not all. Super chat. Thank you so much, good girl. Runneth. A very generous says, "Oh my God, it's freaking alien spiders. I'm done." Yeah, listen, it will be alien spiders. I do believe that you're gonna see that too.
And oh yeah, and someone said I lost. People have diminishing returns on it, but I do think it isn't the full creative team that worked on Lost. It's one of the creatives that's influenced by that, in the same way that you got one of the people that worked on The Sopranos doing Mad Men, and it was a different crew, or someone that worked in the Breaking Bad universe did Ozark. So I think you can smell some of the influence on it, but it's not Lindelof and like the decision makers or whoever those guys' names were. So I do think it's already giving me a little bit more in answers. I don't think it's going to be like Lost in the sense to just everything's going to be, up in the air for years and years and in stretch. I think this is seems tighter. It seems like a tighter narrative that they know what they're doing more here.
Let me answer this young lady's questions. I don't understand how Julie would recognize her older Thomas either. The thing is this, he was trying to play on her emotions. You see her squint. When he says it, he says, "Don't you recognize me?" She squints at him like she should recognize him. It's a mental game. It's the same thing that in the first episode, the little girl was talking to the alien in the window and she said, "I'm your grandmother." And she goes, "You don't look like my grandmother though." But she knew that was what the play on was, the grandmother.
Yep.
And so I'm not saying that this person looks exactly like that boy would look like if he was growing up. But that was the same emotion he was playing on, that exact same thing, trying to get her to convince her who it was. And that's what it would be. Fernandez T, thank you so much. You're generous as always. Alien spiders are flying snakes raised by wolves. It's a great time. It is.
Tony, should we go to our first voicemail?
Real quick, let me finish right after this. So why wouldn't Thomas speak to his mother at that time? It was Julie that was looking at him. It wasn't the mom that was looking at him. And that's also, you have to look at the way it was. It was Julie that was looking directly at him when he said it. The mother didn't even glance over there, right? And it somehow all this things happen with these creatures when they look at you. That's why they cover up the windows, because they seem to be able to get into your head somehow when they're looking at you. And that's what I think. So let's go to the first voicemail.
This is area code 612.
Hey, how you doing? It's John L. from Minneapolis. My only question, kind of pushback with the alien theory. I want to be wrong, and I love for you to be right. I just need more evidence, man. But I'm leaning towards it not being aliens. I just think there's a cop-out for the writers at the end of the day. But believe me, I'm here for the conversation, here for the dialogue. So I bet you'll give me some evidence that points it closer to aliens and maybe change my mind. Appreciate it, brother. Good job.
I appreciate the thing. Listen, as I said, all I can do is follow the breadcrumbs that I see. And if it's not aliens, it's not. I think it is. I'm confident it's going to be. But I could see them doing some type of twist. I didn't write the show. And if it's something that I couldn't think of or someone else couldn't think of, then that's when you know it's a really good show, right? That's how you know that they're really doing that thing, when they fool you, when you know what I mean? But to me, when I look at the breadcrumbs, it's too many clues about, and it's filled this set of every episode they got something to say and something about alien. And I know people want to say somehow this is like some north gods. This is technology. This is technology. When you see the electricity working, it's not Thor's hammer that's just being held up in the sky, turning these lights on. That's not what it is, man. This is some technology. That's what's going on right now.
This isn't a spoiler, but I want to put this up here just because a lot of people can, again, I seen it too, and you're not going to be disappointed. So who knows? Is this guy the freaking doctor of From here?
Yeah. Who is this YouTuber, and how did he see it? You know what I mean? Or is he just clout chasing?
Yeah, it could be that.
I could say right now, I seen it, you're going to be disappointed. And say, "See, I told you you're going to be disappointed," no matter how it turned out, right? That's an easy thing to say. So whoever this YouTuber is, how would they have access to see this video? Who are they to see it? You know what I mean? He's an
Was it leaked on uploaded on a streaming site
Yeah,
early? Is he
because
someone
think
on?
about it.
Did he
It's
get a
very saying he's a press member. All YouTubers are press members, right? Anyone, we could all get it, but I've never seen them ever when they give out screeners give you the last episode. I've seen them give you the first 5. I've seen them give you close, but never really the last one. You know what I mean? And that's it. So every YouTuber is a press member of the press.
The
Any
thing
YouTuber
about
can
things like
contact them
this
and say that.
too is we'll know whatever he's saying. We'll know within a week, if he's right or not. Because I remember so many times during Game of Thrones stuff where there would be someone in a Reddit post or somewhere that say, "Oh, I know what's going to happen. This is the whole outline of the season," and then you wait, and then of course they're full of crap. You know, someone's right. There are people that are occasionally right. We're not necessarily saying this person doesn't have it. It's definitely a possibility. It's just, you know, it's also a possibility that he's just talking crap.
So right here, real quick, yes. So they could do both North mythology and aliens. So if it's a North mythology and it's, you gotta understand what an alien is. An alien is any creature that's not from this planet. If it's not from this planet, it's an alien. You know, Thor, the thunder god, he's an alien. Superman is an alien. Anything not from this planet
Big
is
alien.
an alien. Period. So that's what it is. There's no way around that. So it could be some North stuff. I don't see it really, but you know, I'm not gonna say that it's not. You know what I mean? But I will say that's what I think and everything. You know, it is what it is. It's a I don't know this person. I'm not gonna remember that. You want to send me on Teflon TV the name of this guy's channel? You can, and I'll take a look at it when I'm done with this video.
Yeah, I'll do a little research
Send it to me, and I'll take a look at it, and we'll see what he says. But I don't buy it because usually when they come out with stuff like that, they're not allowed. You're not allowed to say. You can't get a press pass and say, "Hey, you're going to be disappointed with this episode. You'll never get another one again." That'll be it. Because if they see you say that, that's the end.
He has a video right. I'm looking at it right now. He has a
How many subscribers does he have?
5,000. He has episode 10 live reaction, like no spoilers from.
With 5,000 subscribers, you think he's a member of the press? I'm here at 60-something thousand subscribers, and I'm not a member of the press. So what do you think's going on here? 5,000 seems like he's clout chasing to me. That's the way I see it, and everything else. Real Anarch, thank you very much. It says the thing is that the alien spiders know all the people in town deeply, as if they could read their minds or know their history before they arrive. Yeah, so we just talked about that a little bit, and we're going by. So we don't know if the aliens. It's two different. There's two different things here. It's not just one. It's not the creature that we just see. It's something else that we're seeing too there. That's going on there and stuff like that. And but there's two different things. It's two different sets of creatures, without a doubt. I believe that, as I said, there's the ones that are the crows that they could see through the eyes of the crows, or are the crows are the ones that are spying on everyone. That's how they learn everything about you and see everything that you're doing. But somehow these other creatures, when they talk to you, the zombie looking ones, they can get into your mind somehow when they talk to you or something like that. So don't know exactly how it all works, but hopefully that we'll figure this out in the end. Thank you, Real Anarchy, again for the super chat. Truly appreciate that. Everything else. We have another call.
Yes, we do. We have a few more. This is area code 850. This is a longer one, so we may pause during it to respond bits and pieces. Area code 850.
Hey, this is Rachel. I'm from Florida. Just calling to give you my theory, and I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible because it's kind of long. My theory is that the one guy, the annoying guy in the house was right. It's a pocket dimension. And my theory is that it's not just the humans stuck in it, but it's also these aliens from a planet. They're stuck in the same dimension too. And so they both are trying to get out. And where I think it's two sets of aliens, I think one set's kind of given up and the other set is trying to use the humans to help figure out how they can all get out of it. I think that the pocket dimension resets itself every like 50 to 100 years. And it's kind of like a piece of glass when it breaks and you try to put it back together. And some of the pieces are in the wrong spot. Sarah talks about that in one of the first episodes. I think it's kind of like that whenever the pocket dimension resets itself. things get put back differently.
Oh, I know.
No, keep going. I'm
And I
gonna
think
try
that
to
the
find this.
same set of people come every time. And I think that's why, Jade found where his symbol was on a drawing from before. Or I have another theory with the family where, the family has been there before, but in this dimension, this loop, whatever you want to call it, instead of Julie was never born. And that's why that bracelet is found there, because Julie was never born. So the dad never lost it the day she was born, which is why he has it. In that other time that they've been there, that's why he was able to have it. And I have some more theories like that when it comes to Thomas and, him being alive, if Julie never existed and that kind of thing. Let's see. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think that Victor, I think the last time that everything reset itself, Victor went into the tree and came out the cellar. And when he came out there, everything was reset. Everything was different. And because of that, everybody was dead, because I think that every time that the dimension resets itself, that the monsters or the aliens actually kind of reset themselves too. And the people that were living there before didn't know that they were even aliens when they first saw them, just because they were able to take on the form of humans, and they didn't know about the talismans, that kind of thing. And so they all got killed. And I think that every time that it resets itself, they reset too, whether they turn into spiders or zombies or whatever. I think they're aliens, but ultimately they turn to something different, and they have to find the talismans and so on and so forth. I think the other set of aliens that are like better and good are trying to help the humans discover how to get out.
It
Right.
hit the point, but there's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. It's got a little rambly there, but that usually happens when you get nervous and you're talking on the telephone. You're trying to get all your thoughts out and everything.
I've been learning how not to ramble for years. I still can't figure it out.
I think it's very interesting. I like a lot of what she's saying. Let's try to see if I can.
So the looping thing of something being a reset thing, I do enjoy that, even if whether it's aliens or whether it's someone watching them like an overseer kind of situation. I do think it being on 100-year loop or something that's always happened over and over again is an interesting perspective. It's very Matrixy, like it's not the first time the Matrix has happened. It's a, it keeps happening. The experiment keeps going. It resets in some level. Very Groundhog's Day, Majora's Masky. So I kind of enjoy that aspect of what the caller was saying a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this up in a second, but first, before I do, let me just say what up to Elamar.
No, we miss you, Elamar.
Miss you. You should be here with us. We understand why you're not. But hopefully next week you can get here and stuff like that. We love you and everything else. Drive home safe. All right, let's pull this up right here, because this leads to the pocket dimension. And the guy, him saying that pocket, that's not a throwaway line. He's saying that for a reason. He just didn't throw that in there just to say it.
Very Star Trek.
We get this. Can you see that, Phil?
Yes, I can.
All right, so we get this picture from the last episode of Victor's drawing.
These were the pictures that they were going through where the kid was saying it tells a story.
Yes, it tells a story. And if we look at this one right here with the globe,
that's the world. That's the world that they're inside a snow globe.
Yeah, it looks like a snow globe type situation, and that could possibly lead credence. Oops, my bad. I didn't mean to hit that button, and I didn't.
We're inside our own pocket dimension, and someone didn't like it. It was like them finding the bottles. Tony, don't put it back. Don't put it back. My head. Voices are screaming.
Epics, right? All right. So when we look at the photo here, it does look like a snow globe. We can't exactly see everything in there. Now, Fernandez saying it looks like a keyhole. It does look like a keyhole.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I can see a keyhole, but I think they're going for snow globe.
Yeah, it looks like fish or a fish bowl or something.
It has a stand underneath it.
Yeah, that's the fish. That makes fish bowl snow globe type thing.
You know what I mean? That's what makes me think that it's a snow globe. Jackie's saying a fish tank. I just I don't see it. I think I've never seen it like the stand. The bottom of it makes me believe that it's a snow globe, because snow like globes have a bottom like that. You know what I mean? If it was a fish tank, I don't know if they would put that thing underneath it. That bottom makes it look like it's a snow globe.
Yeah, snow globe. I was gonna say it looks like one of those things in the Lord of the Rings that you
Yeah,
can look into and see.
everyone's different. You got people that are guaranteed it's this. You got people that are
Yeah.
guaranteed. To me, it's a
Yes,
snow globe.
it's a Rorschach test, I guess it is. No, I think it looks like a snow. It looks like a pot on its side, like a if you turn it upside down, it's a flower pot.
Mhm. But leading credence to maybe that this could be some type of pocket dimension if they were all trapped, as you said earlier. Now, look, Phil, if they're in the snow globe and she tapped that metal, that would be that metal stand that we're looking right here, right? That could be
Right.
considered that. That's as far as she got down, and that's why it's metal underneath. So it would explain that too.
I mean, I think we're going to get an answer to that by the end of the season. If we're talking about things that we're going to get solutions to, we're going to get in the season finale. That's why this episode, mentioning it before, might have been a quick episode, might have been no real monsters in this episode, except for some of the voices that the girl was hearing. It's led to what I think they wanted to get a lot of the info out in this episode, just so they can give us a big season 10, a big episode 10. It seemed like that. It seemed like the season episode 10 is set up for at least as many answers as we've gotten all season, because we have to see what happens to them when they get out of the tent, unless they get out of the tent and they're back to the normal spot again. But I also think it's interesting that we saw him make those marks on the tree. That wasn't for no reason. He's going to come back and those marks are going to be gone. Like,
or they're going to be pointing in a different direction.
Something like that.
You know, because Victor already said that the trees were moving, right? So we know that at one point the trees are moving. He said the trees are moving. So it's going to be a situation like that the arrow, because he's pointed it straight up, and he's going to look, and I bet you that the arrow is going to be to the left or to the right.
You're probably right about that. There's going to be something
down
with it. They made it a point to show him do it several times and show the way the arrows, just so we can see it later when he gets out of that tent, and the arrows are going to be all messed up somehow.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. I mean, we have more pictures and stuff, and we'll go through some more pictures.
We also have a couple more calls when you're ready, Tony.
All right, let me stop sharing. Let's go back to the calls, and we'll come back to the pictures. We'll go through all those pictures. I have them all, so we'll go through all of them.
Okay, this is from area code 516.
Hey, what's going on? This is Jay from Around the Way, representing Queens. I love the platform, love the show. I think personally it gets better and better. I just had one question. What's the deal with the spiders? Like, there's pictures of the spiders drawn out, plus the little boy in the very first episode mentioned the spider coming down from the ceiling. Like, you know, there's a lot of spider references, and also a lot of boat references too. You know, like with the radio magically coming on, the song about the boat that the guy's wife got him, and then also you know, it's like I don't know, like it kind of gives me like a feel like maybe a foreshadow that they might have to escape off of on a boat or something, you know. But yeah. So what do you think, though? I appreciate the comments. Thanks.
I also want to add that there was another boat reference in this episode. I believe it was this episode or maybe last episode with the Gilligan's Island comment. Like they're stuck on Gilligan's Island. This isn't Gilligan's Island. You're not going to get power out of 2 coconuts. There was some line, which is another shipwreck kind of thing. The one thing I got to say about spiders, and just to point out the picture that Tony was showing last, we saw another one of the pictures had a spider that was right below the snow globe. But I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and I still have I still have some bitterness for not seeing giant ice spiders and stuff. So I'm gonna hold off my hope for spiders right now. I don't want to be spider disappointed again. But there's definitely, all jokes aside, there's definitely gonna be a spider payoff of some sort. Yeah, right there, we see the spider right below it.
Yeah, the spider right below, and the way they have the spider right.
Yeah, look
below
how it's placed.
It's like they're trying to hide it.
Yep.
All right, well, let's see if we can get to the better spider. I think I have a full shot of the spider.
But it's in. Notice that the spider though is in pretty much every single picture you cycle through.
Yeah, that's and it's not the one directly on top.
Nope. There's that one. That spider looks like it's attacking the city. Like the way that's framed looks like that spider's facing off against everyone in the city. Look, that's running.
And it looks like a flood down right here. If you look at the top right here, this picture right here, you see that they're on top of the roof,
yeah,
and it looks like there's a flood.
I didn't even look up there.
That swept through the whole town, because you can see these are supposed to be trees, right? And the trees are fully covered, and it's all the way up. This flood picture right here. I think that. So when we look at everything, somehow there's going to be a flood. Now, as I said, they're not going to pay all this whole storybook off this season. As you said, you're going to have to be able to figure this whole thing out before it's all said and done. You know what I mean? So I don't think they're going to pay off the whole flood. They may not do the flood this season.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's going to be every season, something from that book is going to get solved. You know what I mean? And maybe this first one is just the giant spider one. And the next one is the flood one that's going to happen. The next one is this, and the next one is that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing. But definitely see the connection right here when we look at it, that the spider has raindrops, and it could be tears if you want to consider it tears or whatever. Raindrops, like the itsy bitsy spider, right? Going down the water spout, down came the rain, and watch the spider out. We all know that song and stuff. We sung that in school, but that's what it looks like. But on top, we definitely see a flood that came through town.
It seems like a couple of people in the live chat have talked about this, and I don't want to because they make a joke about it in an episode about an escape room. I don't think it's an escape room, but it definitely has some elements that feel like it's a game. It's a game that they're playing, having to figure out. So maybe there's several challenges, as you said. Each season might have a challenge or something they need to figure out. Several different levels they need to get through on some level to be able to get out of there. They have to solve again with there are things worse than the monsters. Monsters are level 1 of this. That's the base level of this. Where this really gets crazy is a different level, a different level. So I don't know. They've definitely set this up really well, because I think you got to think that they're at least thinking that they have a plan for 2 or 3 seasons that they know they're going to get before. So this definitely isn't a 1 season plan here.
Now, let's say, Gilly Boat, you're right. The itsy bitsy spider was in a loop, right? Itsy bitsy spider went down the water spout. Down came the rain and watched the sport out. Out came the sun, dried up on the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went back the spout again. Now, we don't know if it rained again, but, I could see how that could be a time loop. And maybe this is some situation that they're in, some type of loop or anything else like that. But as for the game aspect, the reason why I don't go with that is because they've said it in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he said it's an escape room.
They've made fun of it.
Yeah, so and then the girl made a joke about it too, on top of that, to dig it in there to make you think. And I think when they mention things like that in the show, they're doing it to say, all right, what are people going to think, and how do we put the kibosh on that? Just like the damn purgatory situation. And then she goes and writes around the wall and asks the father, and the father says, no, you're not dead. Because I think that they knew that people were going to start thinking these people. It's
television 3-card Monty. It's like trying to distract people. It's playing the shell game with people, and you got to let them think things, put breadcrumbs in there, and then kind of see what the overarching thing is. And then when you finally get answers, and you finally get, this was an episode that was, I think, supposed to give us start to head down the direction of giving us some answers, with seeing where they were at the end of this the lights and what else. What was that? If people that don't think it could be something alien oriented, at the end when they were being taken up and you see all the lights around them and stuff, is vampires are doing that, or monsters are doing that? That seemed like, again, a technology thing, to go to what we were saying last week about sci-fi. That seemed very science fiction all of a sudden. I felt like you could have played sci-fi music as they were rising up, like dun 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 dun. Like, it felt very science fiction-y to me at that moment. That was the moment where I wanted to call Tony and be like, oh fuck, you're 100% correct. No, there it is. It's over. Like, I can't believe we're talking about this. At least because at that moment I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I've come down a little bit of just like anything's possible, because I know I know the pedigree of these creators and stuff. But it's definitely something science fiction-y, obviously, and that leads 100% towards Tony's speculation here.
Yeah, because if you go by, if there's a dome, and Ethan says, if you watch my last video, if you haven't watched my last video, I put all this in the video. You could just go watch it and stuff. But Ethan says the spider came from the ceiling and everyone screamed, right? So if you say that they're in a dome, then if he dropped out of the tree, it will be coming from the ceiling and will make people scream, right? So that's one thing. And another aspect too, if you look at the puppets, when the finger puppets, what happened was She goes, "Oh, you have to save me." He's like, "Don't worry, the fairies are coming from the land of blah." He was like, "Oh, I can't hold on. The monsters with claws were too deep." And it's just so and this was just so happens to be how these monsters kill people with their claws, right? She says that. And then he goes, "Oh, is he dead? Wait, can the fairies bring him back?" And she goes, "Sorry, kid. When you're dead, you're dead."
You're
Now,
dead, yeah.
that's not a throwaway line. Then all of a sudden, we hear a lot of talk here about their dead son. It
Now,
says that it's good possibility that somehow, some way, she's able to talk to her dead son. Or this is going to lead to some way. Now, even if they show her dead son growing up or do something like that, doesn't mean it's actually him. It could just be a manifestation that's in her head or something like that.
yeah.
But
And
I think they have to pay that off. They talked about it too much, that son.
I feel like we're going to get paid off in this season finale. Let's bring this into the main theme here because we're 40 minutes in and we haven't sort of answered the question. And because I'm curious, because I don't know, and I want to hear more about your perspective. Where is Victor? Where was Victor in all of this in this episode? He was supposed to come behind her in the tree. Well, that sounded wrong. Walk in the tree right after her. He was supposed to do that. We haven't seen him since. We only get a throwaway line about Jade, go look for Victor, Jade. And then we see Jade in the house later coming up with the concept of how to do the electric stuff, which is, again, we're going to see payoff for that by the end of the episode too. And I think next week, and I don't think it's going to be what we think it's going to be. And we'll get into that a little bit more later too, but we only get a few mentions about Victor. Where do you think he is, Tony? Where was he during all this?
This is the whole thing that we've seen. First, when he introduces us to the faraway trees, he says specifically that wherever you jump in it, you have no idea when you're going to come out, right?
So he's in Detroit or something right now. He's getting pizza.
But when he says that to the kid, when he puts that rock in there and writes it down, he writes a smiley face on the rock. He puts it in the tree. He expects it to come out so he could show the kid. So if that's 100% true, how did he know that rock was going to fall right there where they could pick the rock up and he could show him that this really happens? If that thing would have, and this was a tree that he said he never seen before. So it's not like these trees are mapped out and this is where it is. When we seen her get out into that tree, when we seen Julie go into the tree, she comes out in the same spot that Victor came out of. When he seen the massacre, that's where she came out of. She was inside the same cavern that Jade went into, and then he seen the guy crushed in the boulder, which I believe was someone who went through a tree and wound up inside.
Wound up stuck inside the tree
and got stuck inside the boulder, and that's what it was. And I think that's what they're trying to show us, that you could wind up anywhere.
I know this. I don't know if this person is kidding, but Victor has merged with the spider. Now he's a giant spider with body and head. We got. Do you think Victor went through a tree, and if so, where do you think he ended up?
He had to go through a tree. They haven't shown where he ended. There hasn't been a spot that they've shown where he's ended up yet. Wherever he's at, we haven't seen that spot in the show yet. You know, and that we don't know. They're gonna show him. He'll be in the last episode, but we haven't seen that spot. It's not like he's in the diner hiding in the back. You know what I mean? It's not like he's in the basement of the motel. Wherever he's at is a spot we have not seen him at yet, and we're going to see it in this episode. So I can't tell you exactly where he is, but I can say he definitely went in that tree, and that's all we know about it right now.
Now Jesse says, and I think Jessen, excuse me, I believe said this last week too, and we didn't mention it. Victor is the mastermind, just like the old guy in Squid Game. Or someone said that last week. Do you think Victor might be the mastermind of this whole thing, whether he's an alien disguise or the overseer or one of the monsters or whatever, regardless of what they are? Just, do you think Victor could be the man on the inside in this whole situation?
I mean, he could be playing dumb, eating peaches, sitting back, you know, and this, but really the guy pulling all the strings behind everything, because he knows too much. Where's this information coming from for Victor? How does he know to draw these pictures? Now, if these are pictures of the future, who's giving him these premonitions to make him draw these pictures? Who is he connected to? You know, the one thing he said he didn't want to speak about was when they asked him, "Where's your parents?" He goes, "I don't want to talk about that." Like, why don't you want to talk about it? And then Julie says, you know what's going on here. You know more. And then he doesn't say anything and says, we have to go. We have to get out of here. But it still seems that he was afraid to get caught by those monsters. Like, he was still like they were going to still kill him. So that was what makes me think that
maybe he has a Craster deal with them in some ways, and he has some sort of soft alliance with the monsters in some ways. So he's somewhat of an inside force, and he feeds it to people and protects other people or something. I don't know. Who knows? He tries to feed the worst people to it and set them up in certain situations and protects other people. That's why he's trying to get, Julie out of there, because Julie's a good person. Get her out of here. Z Vision says Victor would have to be immortal. Let's take another call in. We do have, if you want to call in, you can call in 781-990-8509. Again, 781-990.
I encourage you to call in. Please call in.
And this is from area code 914.
Hey, it's JT from Queens, New York. I wanted to say that the Boyd White, I believe, is Victor's twin brother, and the guy that Julie saw outside of Colony House and was like the first or second episode, I think that's probably like Ethan's adult self. I think it's like some sort of like time shifting place, kind of sort of how Lost was.
I'll play it again. I'll finish this. Ethan's creepy.
In the later last 2 seasons or so, where they're just moving through time, stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff is very parallel to Lost, at least the first season, because now they found something that they were digging in the ground for, which was like the hatch.
The hatch, yeah.
And now you hear like this boat horn when they're in like the camping tent.
When the smoke monster.
And Boyd has always wanted this boat, which is kind of sort of similar to Michael. He went off on the boat with Walt. Instead of a boat this time, I guess it's going to be an actual spaceship. I don't know what exactly is going to come about with that. Something very surprising, similar to how they got hijacked for the boat and stole Walt at the end of the first season. Something probably like that is going to happen. And they'll probably open up the hatch or whatever is in the ground, and we won't see what's in there until the beginning of season 2. It's very parallel to Lost. I don't know.
And then there's going to be the Dharma Initiative. Leading into that, Tony, I have a couple of questions about the things that we might get payoffs in the final episode. The underground, that thing, but mainly because we haven't really talked about it. Yeah. Jade has come up with a concept to be able to hook up, get the power. So we're probably going to get a payoff for that by the end of the season. Do you have any speculation with what you think is going to happen when they try to make radio signal? Are they going to talk to someone? Are they going to reach somebody? Is all of this going to be for nothing? We got a lot of, you mentioned this in your video, which again is really good. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out, his breakdown. I couldn't agree with you more about what this episode was about too. Institutionalized. So many characters were talking about, do we want to leave? You're going to miss this place. It wasn't just Donna, Fatima was saying it in a scene too. Will we even know how to live outside of this place? And then you see all of that. Are we going to get a payoff to this radio tower storyline? Where do you think, what kind of direction do you think this is going to go? Personally, I think they're going to get like AM radio or something. It's going to be something real weird. They're going to get like a jazz station.
The Yankees are up 4-5.
Exactly.
On the best Boston Red Sox.
It's going to be something like that. And again, this is very Losty with Saeed getting the radio tower. People that are familiar with Lost stuff, just to go with the other caller. So Tony, I'm curious about your speculation on this.
Yeah, I think that it would have to be something bad. It can't be anything positive. I don't think that it could be a positive situation. I don't think that all of a sudden they can hear somebody saying, hello, you need us? I don't think it could be something like that. It has to be something terrible for it to happen here. That's the way I look at it. I don't think it could be something that
get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah, it can't be like you don't want it to end like a whole bowl of shit. You know what I mean? But I do think that it's not going to work. Like you've heard too many people, Don and all these other people saying you're going to give people hope. You're going to give them too much hope. You can't do this. Something bad has to happen, whether it sets itself on fire and burns down the house. Something bad has to happen. All the people that they actually get in contact is what, they were waiting for. Now they can really come. It's going to be something, but I don't think that whatever it is, it's going to be a positive situation.
Now we have a question here in the chat. A couple of people have said this as we're going through a little bit in the chat right now. Teflon, do you think they are on a secret ship on the ocean?
This would be a hell of a ship to have these trees and shit.
It's the good ship Lollipop.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it would be if they want to, spaceship. If it's like a hologram room like Picard has, then you could do it. Yeah, you could do it anything you want in the holodeck. But I don't know because I think that something's gonna happen with the flood, with the water, right? And they don't seem to be near any flood, any water at all, or any water source at all. Like from what we've seen, that they're not nowhere near any water.
I agree with what Percy just said too. The harder they push the hack, yep. And the harder they push hack the system, the harder it gets. I think that's kind of what you're hinting at too. Like the more they try, something that they could do here could trigger the flood starting. Like the end of this season could be the rain starting, and the cliffhanger into the next season is endless torrential downpour. Yes, and they fuck the limits too much, and whatever's in charge of this got pissed and jacked them up to level 2 on the we're screwing with you meter, and now it's gonna flood.
Mm-hmm. Now people talk about the horn. They're saying it sounds like a very marine. It sounds like it could be a watchtower that Boyd's looking up at, and he could be at the edge of the water at this. He could be. I'm not going to tell you that he's not. I will never tell you that it's not anything because I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't tell you that, and it could be those things too. But it would just be weird for me that they walk through this forest and all of a sudden, they wind up at the water. I don't know how they would be able to do that. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? From the overhead shots that we have given, they're not even remotely close to any water, but not saying it can't be. It's a good possibility. And the horn does sound like a fog horn, some type of boat horn. It does, but it also sounds like that horn from War of the Worlds. If you listen to that horn, it sounds a lot like that horn too.
Maybe it's you in my head, but what I saw in my head as I heard the horn was the horn opening in the docks, the dock bay doors of the big giant ship opening up. And I'm like, and again, I got a little Teflon on my shoulder going, aliens. I'm like, fuck, stop influencing me, man. You're making too much sense. Get off of there. Get off of there. I heard it. Tony, tell me when you're ready for our next voicemail.
We can do it right now. Let's do it.
Okay, area code 857.
Hey guys, this is Sherry from Boston.
Hey, Boston.
Area code 617. I just like to say that I don't think that any of us are placing enough emphasis on this theory about the boat. It's obviously, this boat is a big deal. We're like skipping this, all this tower, what do you call it? The lighthouse. There's a lighthouse on the front of the book that the EMT and the sheriff are sharing. This horn that we hear with Boyd, and the same horn with Tabitha. That flood, those tears, the lake of tears. Somehow we're missing something that has to do with a boat. Boyd's been talking about a boat since episode 1. This boat has come up in every episode. There's even a boat key. We have to start looking at what does this boat have to do with this situation.
Now, I would say, this is more?
Oh no, that's it.
Yeah, I would say, Percy Garcia says that a boat is also a ship. Yeah, it could be a ship. It doesn't have to be an actual boat, but yes, he is an officer, and they do talk somewhat about a boat in it. And I don't think that the lighthouse. The thing about when they do things like say that lighthouse on that book has something to do with it. they would show you like them handing the book off,
Mhm.
and they would do like a zoom towards that picture, maybe not fully in frame, but close. And I don't remember seeing a close up of the book with the lighthouse in it. Again, when she's walking up those spiral steps, I can understand why people would think that's a lighthouse. It does look something like a lighthouse
Yeah.
when she's going up. And then when she gets to the top step, you check the video, I said it, you see a husband hanging upside down. He shines a light right in her face. And it's the same exact thing that happens with Boyd when he looks up. There's a light right in his face. So there's no doubt that those are two parallel aspects going on. And they're trying to explain something there going on right there. It could move. They may be able to get out there and go to a different island. It may, set off on a journey to a ship to a different island. They think they're going. It could do that. You know what I mean? But I hear what you're saying about the boat situation. I just don't know if that's the boat is going to be the key thing for this episode, this whole series that we see in the season.
But there is definitely a lot of boat referential kind of stuff, but a boat could symbolize ship. It could be not as literal as it's being and mean ship, or it could mean a boat in some way. I don't know if I saw the number. What's the significance of the numbers? There were numbers written in that cellar.
Yeah, I put it in there. In that one that was 18, whatever. The one that the same number that was found by Boyd that was in the bottle, and she kicked the bottle over, and the boy's bottle over. The one
it
that
was the book written by the. I don't want to spoil the video, but yeah.
Yeah, but the one right there. It's if you look at that real quick, if you look at that time frame and you go in there and you look, you see that at that time there were two American scientists that found mummified remains of what they called the alien, and they felt like they found the body of an alien stuffed into like an egg type of creature, egg type of like ship, like nanu type situation ship. You know what I mean? So in 1864, so that's there. If you can Google that, you'll find that right there. Whether it is what it is.
Thank you,
who
Isaiah.
knows, but we know that for fact is there. Also, we know, about the wars and everything else going on and stuff like that. And we seen Jade have a vision of a Civil War vet, stabbing him in the stomach and everything else. But there's no doubt that in 1864 that they found aliens at that particular time in the world. So they suggested they found alien white creatures that would. So we'll see. We'll see what it is. Mummified remains of what they believe to be alien.
Now, here we go. This is area code 571.
Hey, this is Omar. Calling from Washington, D.C.
Welcome, Omar.
Calling in reference to the show From. I want to give my theory. Hopefully this is one you guys probably have some inklings of the same thing. I'm guessing that
and the call got cut off. I don't know if that was intentional. If that was, that's fucking hilarious. That was if not call back in. But if that was like your intention was to cut it off right there, I applaud you, sir.
That was amazing. He did it perfectly too. Rachel was right. Those numbers are also leap years too. Those are leap years. All those numbers were leap years. I do believe. If you look at them again, they're all leap years. So it does fall on the leap year too, which I think that has to mean something too.
Interesting. And yeah, Omar was coming. Omar was coming.
Oh my God. That's a black He-Man figure he's got there. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a good. That's like
that's like James Brown, He-Man, or a He-Man figure of
or Sam Jackson in Pulp Fiction, like Julius.
All right, let me see if I can pull up some more of these pictures real quick.
And I'll take a couple more chats while Tony's pulling it up. Maybe the good aliens made a sort of lake teleportation system to help the humans escape. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, because I'm not scared. I'm not scared, Mommy. Don't worry.
Yeah. When you look at this is like a regular house with a tree. Nothing wrong with it. Like nothing wrong with that picture at all. But you see the boy in white on the back.
Oh yeah.
Whatever this picture is a picture, and I think that's the reason why they're showing that is because it's got something to do with the boy in white. But below it again is tears or just water falling with the river and the spider coming down.
many spiders. Spiders, yeah. Every picture, the spider's in that same
The
spot.
spider's always there. And then this one with her hand in front of it, I can't really tell. It's like a window. I don't know if it's a crashed in window or there's
I mean,
a hole in the...
you could see that she's looking out at a flood and seeing some of the debris still floating in the water or something like that, like looking out a window.
And then
Or
on top there's a car crashed, right? That's what that yellow car crashed right on top of that. But the flood picture, I think, is the one that you could see too. The spider and the flood.
yeah, there's definitely going to be a flood. If we're going by these pictures foreshadowing something, there's definitely going to be a flood at some point in time. That seems...
At some point there's a flood. There's a bunch of water coming there. People are gonna have to stay on the roofs. Which, listen, it may be better for them. Can these creatures swim? I mean, we don't have any answers if these creatures could swim or not. So it may be good for them to get to that point. Anything else?
Watch these creatures surf.
Yeah, this is
they come out in jet skis and stuff.
They come out there on jet skis chasing them.
Riding spiders and shit.
We don't run, but we ride jet skis.
Yeah. Don't worry about us, Tony.
We're coming out there. And this one looks like people dead again. So again, here is a different picture here. But we see that there's a girl with a bear next to her dead. The motel's to the left. There's a house in the middle. I don't know what's to the right. This person's, and the person with the girl head is ripped off. I think this is her head all the way over here.
Yeah, been ripped,
it's been
completely
pulled off. This guy's head's been pulled off. His leg's been turned off. This guy's stomach is ripped open. And this one is just decapitated also. Those are all the new pictures. These are the pictures that we've seen already. That from the beginning and everything else. We can go through them just looking at them real fast. Because we've already see if any of them link up to that picture that we seen there.
No, they seem, and the flood seems
like this is another girl with a bear. It's not the same picture here, but this is another picture with a girl. But this picture, her arm is torn off, and the bear is soaked in blood.
But it's interesting that we don't see the flood depicted in any of these original pictures. It seems like the flood is an event that's coming down the road.
But not this season.
No,
like you may not see the flood this season jump off. These must be the creatures. Looks like a crow.
We got some happy little trees over here. Yeah, we do. Two guys.
And this is another thing. Look, this is another proof that there's aliens right here. I didn't put it in my video, but I should have. But look at the lamp right here. Stars on his lamp shade. Why is there stars on his lamp shade? Because it's aliens. That's why. They wouldn't have just put these stars on the lampshade if that wasn't the case. That's the reason why the stars are on that lampshade. That's why I shot it twice. And this house on fire. This is flood, house on fire, people running out. This a whole house that's engulfed. This could happen this episode. That machine, that device they put on there could make the whole house go on fire. You know what I mean? It could be it could be something else like that. I'm telling you, Fernandez, there's the reason why they're doing these damn stars, because you also have the same stars that are on his lunch pail. And I'm telling you, this is what it's about. This is why they do that things. You know what I mean?
Here we go. Area code 616.
Hey, this is Angel from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was calling because I'm wondering, not only is the show giving Lost vibes, but it's giving It vibes. Could it be the reset? It has something to do with these monsters living and feeding and eating, and then they need to stop? I mean, it kind of fits in with the theory regarding the flood and the reset. Could that be it?
What do you think, Tony?
I don't know about the reset. If I could go along with that, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's what, if this is resetting and then doing the whole thing over again, and resetting it and doing the whole thing over again. LMR, Jay will mess with electricity and burn the house. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I can see that happening too.
I can see that jumping off, that whole thing, because she already tried to destroy part of the house. You know what I mean? That's it. And Ruben's like Teflon, the priest chocolate bomb was named Cosmo. Cosmo aliens. Yes, I already made that. I know you're laughing about it, but that's the point that I made about it being aliens is yes, they focused, and the whole thing is they focused on that candy bar. Focused on it. You know, that's what tells you, they showed you a clear shot of that candy bar. And then when that girl was asked to drew the picture, she drew the picture of the alien, not the chocolate bar. She could have just drew the chocolate bar, but she drew the picture of the alien.
She
In
did.
there, you know what I mean? So everything points to, unless they're red herring the shit out of us, everything points to it.
Oh, thank you, AP Wong.
Oh, from Australia, want to let you know you have some fans around the world. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And the land down. We have over 200 people rocking with us right now. Thank you all for coming out here and rocking with us, man, and doing this.
Gilly Boat says, don't the trees and people in the drawings look like they're drawn by a variety of people?
You think more than one artist, then she's saying?
Yes, that more than one artist worked on them. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I could see why you would think it, and it could be, but I can't give you a definitive answer on if it's drawn by more than one person.
Steph Snow says, hey, Steph, do you think the photos of events we haven't seen are images of the past or images of the future? I tend to think some of the pictures that we're seeing here are more images of the future or things yet to come rather than images of the past. I think the past we're seeing remnants of the past in that we've seen a flashback so far. We've seen some images. We've seen a couple of ways, storylines. I think these things are things yet to come, and at least my impression of it could be wrong, but I think it's things to come. Not.
Yeah, I think that they're both. I think some of them have happened and some are in the future, but you know, it depends on what he's drawing and stuff like that. Like but the whole thing, a great thing. And listen, we only have 79 likes with over 200 people watching. We gotta hit that like button. Yeah, you gotta hit that like button, man. We gotta do that. You know, I mean, we really appreciate it if you do that. But is that when Ethan was in his coming out of his like comatose state, he was able to see everything that was inside. He was ready to see everything that was inside of Victor's room at the same time it was going on. Because he says, I've seen the River of Tears. I've seen all these pictures on the wall. You were in it. Mom was in it. Dad was in it. And he was saying that, Victor was at that time, they showed Victor actually drawing the picture of the crash right then. So how did this boy, Ethan, how was he able to see inside of Victor's room when he was in that comatose state?
Ethan sees a lot. He sees a lot.
Yeah, and there's only two people that seen the boy in white, Victor and Ethan. So there's something going on. Now listen, if Victor is Ethan grown up, Ethan caught a raw deal in life. I mean, he did. Something bad happened.
Something went bad for it. You lost some bet.
Something bad happened to Ethan.
Ruben, I think it's whatever the creatures are using something that they know about our main character, about Boyd, that to try to influence him through their vessel. I don't think it's actually Abby talking to him. I think they just know that Abby's important to Boyd, so that's the tactic of which they're going, because whatever is involved in this, aliens, overseers, monsters, they're watching everything once you get within their barrier. So they were listening in the car to hear that conversation that Boyd had with his family, to say the name, so they know how to, and they saw what happened with Abby. They were influencing Abby too, I think. I think they were doing the same thing to Abby that they were doing to this girl that we're supposed to have seen in that, and talking to her, influencing her, or maybe she was just going stir crazy being in the town. Who knows? But
again, let me give a shout out to Pega. We said this a little earlier, but in case you weren't here, Pega, who came on, who plays Fatima, who's on the channel. Thank you again for coming on the channel, Pega. We really, truly appreciate you coming on here and rocking with us when you did.
Oh, yeah.
But she specifically said in that video that the scariest thing about these monsters is that they know everything about you.
Yes.
All right, that's what she said. She said that's what makes them the most creepy. They know everything about you, so they would know this conversation that he had about in the car before they got there, and they would know that that's his nickname. And I think it was just a ruse that they were trying to get him to go back, and they thought that, hey, if we say this, it'll scare him enough to go back. But he was like, no, we're still gonna press forward. You know what I mean? That's it. And I'm saying that there's more scarier things than these creatures. That's every show. Every show that you see, it has something like this, whether it's Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, and you like Walking Dead. All right, you have a bunch of zombies out there, but the humans are more meaner than the zombies,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And the same thing with the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. That the real villains are the hero. You got these creatures out there, but the real villains are the humans. So I think it's got something to do more like that when they're saying there's stuff out here worse than these creatures. It's the people pulling those creatures' strings. They're even worse than these creatures. You thought they were bad.
Yeah.
Look at these people are doing to you and to them. They're the really bad guys. So I think it's more of a thing like that.
And this is funny. They would the spirits. This would have them pouring holy water all over the house. Good stuff. This is from area code.
I'd be dousing my whole body in holy
Dude,
water.
Like I was thinking, if I was in Walking Dead universe, I'd just be walking around with guts 24/7 surrounding my body. I don't care. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, I would be all in guts, head to toe.
Yeah.
Every day. It would be like deodorant.
Yeah, my morning ritual would be like, I have a bucket of it right there. I'd be using it instead of deodorant and shit.
That was just the way it would be.
Yeah, when I'm in the zombie apocalypse, I've given up on human interaction. Like I don't care if I smell like shit. That's fine.
That's all right. Who am I trying to get with?
Yeah, not at that point. I'm just trying to survive. Base instincts right there. Area code 248.
Hello, my name is Tanisha. I'm from Michigan, well, Detroit, Michigan. There's a preview of like the image of episode 10. It's on that the YouTuber Y'all Don't Believe Nocturnal with Critic. He in his community page he got a preview of episode 10 of like it's Boyd and Sarah, but there's a whole bunch of spider webs behind them. And they looking up. You think they looking at the lighthouse? What do y'all take on that picture?
I gotta see this. Phil, can you grab that picture from this fucking guy?
Let me see. Let me see if I can play this video. Is this from his?
You say it's from the home, so you have to go to like he posted it on his home page.
Okay, let me see if I can find this. I sent the link to his YouTube page in the comments.
Yeah, I've seen that. So you would have to when you post like a.
Oh, when it goes to like community or something like that.
Yeah, community post.
Okay, let me see if I can send you this picture. Let me see if I can find this stuff. And about, I don't see it. Channels. Oh, community. There it is. Where's Victor? Saw this on Twitter. Wanted to post this privately. Where's Victor? I'm about to react to episode 10. I had to post a video for this one. There will be no spoilers. I don't spoil stuff without warning. Blah blah blah. Oh, okay. I see the picture he's looking at. Okay, let me try to share my screen. So it's not the best quality, but let me see if I can get this image.
I'm gonna take a look at this picture and see what's going on.
Screen share.
All right. I could see exactly why they would say it looks like spider, but it looks like they're still in the forest.
Yeah, it does look like they're still in the forest.
Wherever they're at, it still looks like the forest. Doesn't look like they're in the water or anything. And he's definitely looking up at something. They're both looking up at something.
Could be a lighthouse tower, could be a ship, could be something. Could be a spider up at the top of a web.
It could be. It could be that. Definitely I could see it being some type of webs in the trees or something like that. But how come they ain't webbed up?
Yeah, they should be like a Spider-Man enemy. Like we
already seen this picture. This is a picture already taken, and someone just added that shit to the background.
Maybe. Are we being trolled here?
Okay. Yeah, they don't look afraid in it at all. They don't look afraid. I don't know. I can't call it. You know what I mean? I can't call it if that's a real or it's not. Maybe I'm not saying the guy's lying. I don't know. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe that's what it's. Who knows? I can't really tell you. What's going on.
And here's another call from 612.
Hey, how you doing, fellas? It's John L. J. Hall in the chat. But
Hey,
my theory about Boyd is not just a hero story that kind of goes with every movie or show, but just a true, and I'll even give you your aliens theory. What if the aliens are taking Boyd on a true test to see if he's eligible to be a part of the colony, and everybody else there is created just to make the test for Boyd more as realistic as possible, including a true test of having to kill his own wife when he first got there. What do you think about that one? That even gives you a little alien feedback too, just because you think I'm hating on your feedback of the alien theory.
So this
You are hating. We know you are hating. We know it already. It's fine.
Oh wow.
We know you are. That's fine. I don't. Everyone's hating on it. No. People are talking about if it's that they're gonna not watch the show anymore. So it is. But I'm just playing with you. But in all honesty, I just think that this has supposedly been going on since Victor was young, right? And everyone was hiding before Boyd got there. So I don't know if it could be this doing it for Boyd because they were doing it before Boyd was there. So I don't know if
those could all be like just to like argues devil's advocate in this situation. It could be that all that was just whatever these creatures think would be the right thing to tell Boyd. It's all stuff to influence him and make him feel more comfortable, make this seem like a more real universe. If we're going with this theory, then that everything is he's in sort of a Kobayashi Maru, a Total Recall situation where everything he's being tested with these created things. I don't think it's that, but if it is that, it could go down that road that everything is just a simulation and a creation.
So they're saying that this is. Let me go to my Epics Now. They're saying it's on the Epics Now app.
I
have that on my phone. Let me see if that picture's on the Epics Now app.
I'm not necessarily against you, Jay Hall, but
is that what he's saying?
No, he said Phil is with me. I said I'm not necessarily against you. Because I like the concept of Boyd, this being Boyd's adventure, this being his, and everything is about him in some weird way, because he definitely gets a character focus on this show that nobody else does, and I don't think it's just because of the actors of who the actor is. Or that he was on the island of Lost, so he feels so he's like, I've been here, I've been in this thing before. Everything's familiar a little bit to me, and I've been in Oz. There's nothing worse than this. So it's like,
let me see, maybe it's on episode 10. It's on the episodes. Where is this? That's episode 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He is correct. Yes, it is. That is the title card for episode 10.
Oh, the image that we just put up.
Yeah, that's the title card for episode 10 right there. So I don't think that he's breaking any ground here with that. If it's the title card for episode 10, it's not like he's doing something secret here. And I definitely could see that. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when you look at it, you could say that it looks very webby back there. It's something. But it does look like they're still in the forest. I don't know why they don't ever show like a trailer to these things. Like I can't find any trailers for episode 10. And it says here on episode 10, the synopsis is Boyd draws strength from an unlikely source. So where would he get that strength? I know that they're trying to lead you right there to thinking that's going to be his wife. That's what they're trying to do. But that's not the case. But that's what they're trying to say. It's unlikely his wife's still alive, blah, blah. That's not the case. Jim's radio tower yields consequences which rock him to his very core. So specifically, Jim.
I think the unlikely source is going to be what's her name, the girl he's with, who he.
Yeah, that's what I think it's too. It's going to be her that he's going to.
What's her name? Is her name Sarah?
Sarah. Yeah. Sarah. And this is Jim's radio tower yields consequences which rock him to his very core. So it's going to be personal with Jim. It's going to do something that hurts him considerably, what it is, what that does. So the hole that Tabitha has been digging leads to somewhere and to someone she could never have expected. Everything is about to change.
Go read that one again.
It says, the hole that Tabitha has been digging leads her, now everyone, it says leads her somewhere, dash, and to someone she could never have expected.
Okay, so you mentioned in your video that I've published 10 times, but it's a very good breakdown that that when she's walking up the stairs, she's transported to what looks like she's walking up a tower stairs or walking up like a castle, maybe even a castle stairs. So is that foreshadowing for where she's going to? Is she going to be transformed, transferred somewhere through where they're poking at this bear a little bit too much, and she goes through the floor and disappears and meets up with something else or something else?
It says everything's about to change. So this whole town thing should be over at the end of this. The way they're saying everything is about to change. So this whole town situation and all that should be done by the end of this. I would think it should be over by then, if everything is about to change. It should be a whole different mission and everything else like that. It says the hole Tabitha has been digging leads her somewhere. So it's
we're
not
all going somewhere. No.
Yeah, so where can it go? If it's going somewhere, it's not going to China, right? You're not digging a hole and winding up in China like I thought when I was a child, right? You're not going to be able to do that. So it has to be, and it's metal. It's metal that she hits with it's metal. When she hits it with the shovel, it's metal.
Tabitha, I think it might, Quan might be onto something. This is what I was kind of thinking. Tabitha's hole may lead to her dead son.
Yeah, it's got to be something with her son, because that's her whole arc, is coming to grips. Like her whole story arc, if you look at the story arc for her, that she wants to divorce Jim because she can't deal with him. She blames him for the death of their son, because she says specifically she says, when I look in his face, sometimes I hear the phone rings. And she says before the son died that she went to reach for the diaper, Jim went to reach for the phone, and then the baby rolled off. So she's not saying every time I look at his face, I see a diaper. She's saying when I hear the phone ring, like I was doing the right thing. He shouldn't have reached for that damn phone. Our baby would still be here, right? In a situation like that. So she blames him for it. So her arc is to coming to grips with this situation. Everything that you've seen, whether it's the bracelet that was found, that was lost, right before the daughter was born, the kid dying, everything leads to her dealing with this son. So it's a good possibility that somehow her son is involved. So it leads her, and that's where it could be said, to someone she could never have expected. If it's Victor, would she expect being led to Victor? Of course not, but I don't think it's Victor. It has to be something more personal to her. And that's the only thing that we see that's personal, is this kid. So it has to be something to do something down there.
Yeah, I hope we do get an answer to that. It's not just left vague throughout the season. I do want to get at least one of these points that are being left off to actually get a conclusive what it is. Mm-hmm. And I think we may get it with this one. Someone asked me a question earlier that I want us to break apart. Phil, Ellis saw Sarah when he went to say goodbye to Boyd because Boyd won't survive the trip. Do you think that as well? Is there any way that they Ned Stark Boyd here?
No.
I don't think so either. I'd be surprised. It has crossed my mind a couple of times this season with how focused it is on him, but I do think he'll survive to the end. He's our, I hate doing the lost things over and again, but he's our Jack here. And I think the story, whether it's all about him or not, it would be very hard for me to imagine them actually doing that, but it has crossed my mind a couple times.
This is the first show this actor's ever been the lead of the show.
Yep, absolutely.
That it is his show. It's his picture on top of the on all the billboards. He's the lead of the show. To get rid of him would be a disservice, and I just don't think they could do that. So I just don't think he would do it. I think this is his chance. This is his show. So I don't see him getting out of here. Not season one. Not right off the bat. I think someone's going to die, but I think the person that's going to die is going to be the nurse. I think the nurse has to die. A nurse is going to die, or the nurse, the kid who likes the nurse, the Asian dude.
Oh,
One of them,
the sheriff junior.
yeah, one of them will die this episode. I think one of them died.
Kenny, is that his name? Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny. Kenny always dies, right? In South Park, right? It's like
They
Kenny.
killed Kenny, you bastards.
Yeah. People said, "Do you remember the movie Maze Runner?" I did not see that
No, I didn't
movie,
see Maze
Maze
Runner.
Runner. I did not see that one.
It's a series though, right? It came out. It was another one of the. Came out around the time of like the Hunger Game movies and stuff. It was, I believe, another one of those like not game show, but like reality showy or like a big game show for your life. The big one that we got when we were kids was Running Man, but which was a big foundation one. Good movie, good older movie, Schwarzenegger movie. If you're in the mood for a fun action movie and you've never seen Running
All right,
Man.
so let's go. So Ruben is saying Ned Stark was the face of God as well. It's a different situation, I think, when dealing with Sean Bean. Number one, everyone knows Sean Bean gets killed.
I knew you.
Right? That's a known fact, right? If Sean Bean is casted, he's gonna die. That's why he
might as
gets
well have been
casted.
Kenny Stark.
You know what I mean? That's why he gets casted for it and everything else. So no, and if you knew the story of A Song of Ice and Fire, right? If you read the books, then you would know that he's not the main character in the story at all. He's a side character. And that's it. So that's what it is. And I think that time that he was the only one that people knew about to focus on. So they had to have someone. Sean Bean's already had his own television show on top of that too, that he was the lead in the television show.
Yep.
This is this guy's first lead role.
No,
right
Tam says the shelter Julia emerged from. I think. Do you mean out of the tree after she got put in the tree? Didn't have a talisman. How is it protected? The trees are just protected, aren't they? Haven't we established that the trees, even without?
Yeah, I think the trees, whatever, they ain't trying to kill a tree. They may come.
They're scared of the trees or something.
They may come from the trees themselves. You know, when they go into the woods, they may come out of this teleportation device, which is the tree, and do that and do that. You know, but I don't know if there's a symbol though on top of the ceiling. Well, Jade's seen a symbol on top of the ceiling, a circular symbol. And you know, and then this is the same symbol that's in the book, the same symbol that was on the tree. So I just don't know if they just didn't know she was in there and it was a good hiding spot, and that's why they didn't find her, or what it would be. But I don't know. You don't have to have a thing in there to be safe. They can't find you.
We got a couple of voicemails. Let me play the voicemails. Area code 708.
Yeah, this is Rita from Chicago. I was calling to see if you guys think that when they were in the tent and the trees were moving, did y'all think that? Sorry.
No, I mean, it's. I'm gonna.
I gotta get rid of this person this person over here.
Oh, the webcam.
Yeah, I gotta get rid of that.
I think I know what you're gonna try to say, even though like you totally like I understand like when it was around the trees, like what was moving them up or what was actually going around them and stuff. I tend to think that something was picking them up or surrounding them, or at least pushing some sort of force against them of some sort. It could have just been we felt something. We felt something big moving and causing like a shift in the air or something like that. But I suddenly want to go to chat roulette for some reason after this.
You guys got it. You guys got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, mods. Thank you.
Thank you, mods. I appreciate it. I see y'all. That's your job there. Whack those dudes. Whack them. Get them out of here.
This is area code 415.
I'm Mike from San Francisco. Everybody forgot about the ferries. They stealing all the cars, batteries, the wiring, like everything, flickering the lights. Yeah, the ferries is the one doing all the stuff. That's all I want to say.
The fairies.
Oh, it's fairies.
Yep.
I thought you said bears. We're saying fairies are doing this tonight. So, all right. So we know that fairies are like some type of, it's a lore. But if you actually look at the lore and you look up fairies, you could see that the fairies are actually aliens, right? If you look at the ancient aliens series, it'll tell you that these fairies that people call the Fae, that they weren't actually fairies. They were actually aliens that people could not explain, so they called them fairies because that's how they were able. That's the only word they can come up with them, because they didn't have a word for aliens. So they just made it. So if it is some type of fae or something like that, then it definitely it would be an alien. It's the same situation. If you ever read, if you ever looked at the chariot, was the Chariots on Fire or something like that, Chariot of the World, and they were trying to say that it was God that came to visit them, but when God came and visited them, he came in a vehicle that they called a flying chariot. But they still look at it. If you look in the Bible, they still think of it as God, and that's what the guy was saying. He was like, the God that I heard of wouldn't need a vehicle to travel from the planet. It's obviously an alien, but there was no way that they didn't have a word for it.
Are you quoting Star Trek 5 too, where Kirk comes to the planet and God calls them to a planet, and Captain Kirk goes, "What does God need with a starship?" And it's maybe that's where Shatner got that line from.
That has to be from Eric von Daniken or something.
I bet he did. But that's awesome. It's funny. It's also a line in Star Trek 5. It's do you a gift revolver says, do you think the From community has it easy compared to the Walking Dead? Dead community, I don't know. The Walking Dead community is pretty in denial at the moment. The people that are still thinking that show's good, I don't want to piss anybody off, but it's a different sort of thing. I don't think this show is. I think the only aspect of this show that reminds me of The Walking Dead is the anyone can go at any time kind of thing. And I think that's the thing about what Ruben in the chat saying and what we're saying, like, it's an atmosphere where you feel like Boyd could go. I don't think he's going to go either, but they set up an environment where he could be in danger. It could feel like he's in danger at some point in time, and you might believe that he could happen to him. I don't think he's going anywhere. But yeah, he's going to be on the show for a while.
Let me push back a little bit. So, Jamis, she said that aliens would be generic if they were. I don't understand it. If it's aliens, it's the same story that we've been watching. So it's not generic if it's monsters. If it's monsters doing this, then from the Earth, that's fine. But if it's creatures from a different planet, then it's not fine. I just don't understand the logic of saying that the story somehow is different from it being aliens in some. So if it's some North gods, some North mythology job, that's not generic. That's fine. But if it's aliens, it's not fine. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? To me, it's one and the same, really. If it's gods from another planet, those gods are aliens. If it's not from this planet, it's aliens. That, you know, what I don't understand how you would see it in any other different way. And yes, that is what the story. You can Google it yourself. That it will show you, if you look at the stories of fairies, that they were aliens. That's what it says. That's what the Celtic story is. Google it and look it up yourself. Don't ask me, man. Just go by what it says. But I don't think it's fairies. I mean, I don't see it, you know, and everything else like that. I have no idea. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So we'll see in a little bit. And as I said, I don't even think we'll get the answer in this episode coming up. I don't think we'll get that for at least 3 seasons. I think we'll get hints about stuff, but I don't think it will be anything. As for The Walking Dead and this community, I would say The Walking Dead's they've had many more years.
Yeah, they've had chances to go through generations of people that were fans and aren't fans anymore, and getting new fans. Like certain shows, you see that a lot with bands too, or certain musical acts that play one style and gain fans, and then they change their style a little bit. And like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like when they were early, they were like punky, funky, like all over the place, and then they became more like grungier, like with Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and then they became a pop emo kind of band, and they have fans on each generation of that kind of stuff. Me personally, I like the album they did with George Clinton, Freaky Styley, when they were more like fun, funky kind of stuff rather than cheesy. So Walking Dead almost has a lot of generations like that. There's the people that just like the original Walking Dead, the Frank Darabont Walking Dead, and they're loyal to that. Then there's people that like it all the way up until Rick died, or all the way up until the dumpster incident, or when Carl. And then there's people that like it now and are fans of modern Walking Dead, which is awesome too, if you're into it.
Yeah, I would say, listen, I would love for this show to get a Walking Dead type run.
Yeah, 11 seasons.
Yeah, I'd love for it to get 11 straight seasons of it. You know what I mean? It has a story that could support it. They just can't blow their wad in one season now. That's why I think that, they're not going to.
5 good seasons. This show smells like 5-6 good seasons of this show.
That would work too. So the thing is this, you know what I mean? It's like this. This is the way it goes. When you look at what this show is trying to show you, what it has shown you, and everything else, and I know all you people, you're sitting here and you're saying your things or whatever like that. You can say what you want. I'm not trying to sway you. I don't care what you think. You could think that it's butt monsters, right? That's fine. You know what I mean? I don't care. You can think it's Genie in Aladdin's land. That's fine. I can only go on what I've seen. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I'm telling you, ain't gonna be no goddamn Thor's hammer coming out this motherfucker. It's not going to be. It's not going to be like that. But it is set up to have, as Phil talked about last stream, different characters and everything else like that.
And I think you see that even just for a moment to bring in a character for a few seconds to hang himself in a later in the episode. It's just for emotional reasons to bring in.
And there's two things it's going to set up here. 2 things. The only 2 things they have to set up is the radio tower, what happens at the radio tower, and what happens in that hole. Those are the 2 plot holes. They literally a hole plot hole they have to figure out. Whatever happens with Boyd is not going to be solved. They're going to show you something there, and that's going to lead into a different season. It's not going to be, that's going to be it right there. Whatever they show you at Boyd is not the end. It's going to show you a glimpse of something, and that's going to be it. The only 2 things that will definitely, only 2 things that will definitely be taken care of, and without a doubt, is that hole, that plot hole, the hole, and that's it. Now, what did this person say right here? Who is this person? They say something crazy. You think this show is being stuck behind a subscription? You think the show being stuck behind will affect its viewership and ability to be renewed in the future? So it's 2 different ways you can look at that. You know what I mean? Number one is they don't have commercials, so they don't have to really care about viewership when it comes down to it. Like they don't have people to answer to but themselves. So it really will come down to subscriptions of people subscribing to their service because of this show more than the viewership on it. And we don't know. Listen, like I said, Godfather of Harlem has gotten 2 going into 3 seasons, and I think this has much more buzz around it than that.
So does.
I think for that reason, I think it'll be better. I think if they do I'm sorry, Phil. They do like a Netflix thing and move this 1 season to Netflix. This 1 season to Netflix. Give Netflix this 1 season, then I guarantee you'll see it shoot right up the roof right after that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this show does have a good buzz around it, and obviously we're here talking on a Wednesday night with 187 200 people talking about this show, and it's very fun to pick apart for theories. But it being in a landscape where there's so many of these apps, so many shows right now, it does get lost in the mix, not being on one of the big 3 ones or something. But it does, like Tony said, if they added this season, this show has upside of that show that was on Lifetime for the first season. And I don't mean it's like that show in any way, shape, or form. What I mean is that was a show that had a core audience that liked that first season, that saw it, that found it, that were focused on it. Then when it got added to Netflix, people freaking found it crazy. Even something like Cobra Kai, I love the hell out of Cobra Kai. I watched it ever since it was on YouTube Plus, and I follow it, I talk about it. But it didn't really reach a crazy audience until it was added onto Netflix. Netflix, for whatever is worth, even now, is still the big boy. If you get added to that, Amazon or maybe even Hulu too, one of those, you have a chance to really just catch people's eyes scrolling through stuff.
Yeah, it happened with Evil, right? Yeah. Evil, see, they put season 1 of Evil on there and it blew up. That's when everyone started looking at Evil, but they didn't put any other. Netflix not getting anything else with it. Now it's all on Paramount Plus, but they put it there and it blew up.
But Epix has shown that they'll support the shows regardless of that viewers if they believe in it. So it's hard for me to imagine that they maybe haven't announced anything that they don't, that like Tony said, the attention that this show's getting already compared to some of their other shows. It's hard for me to imagine that this won't get at least 3 seasons. Like that they'll go in for this show for that they'll announce season 2 pretty soon, and then during the beginning of season 2, before season 2 even comes out, they'll say, "Oh, they're giving us a season 3 too," and then we'll have to wait for 4 and 5. But I think we're gonna get 3 seasons. They've been very loyal to shows. They're not like Netflix like that. They're not like some of these other ones. If they actually have a hit here, and they just need to find the right way to get it to distribute to people.
Yeah, someone said that they think that okay, how could I say? They think that the portal's going to lead to water, that it's going to start flooding through there.
Yeah, that could start the flood right there.
She hit metal. You know what I mean? She hit metal. Now, if she unscrews that thing and water, then people will say, they're in a submarine.
Get out!
They're in a submarine this whole time.
Charlie.
Now, look, it could
then
be
it's really, I'll stand up and yell, this is fucking Lost, because there's totally a submarine scene in Lost. Poor Charlie, everybody. But
it could be a submarine, or it could be a spaceship that's under the water. That's Doc. We know UFOs like to go under the water, and they got through that, and now they opened up a portal inside there under the water. Now they're flooding the whole spaceship down there. Either way, it can go to it.
Now, Tony, we still have a handful of voicemails. This is area code 504.
I've heard some different theories about having a hive mind, perhaps, and that the monsters / aliens, this is how they know people's names and information about people. I also heard another theory about your conscious self and your unconscious self, and how you're haunted by your unconscious self to make decisions, like when you have premonitions or ideas. Could they be haunting each other? Just wanted to know your thoughts on these crazy theories. Thanks.
What are your thoughts on the crazy
hive mind situation?
Yeah, like a Borg kind of thing, where
maybe the monsters have something like that. I mean, I can't. I would think it's something. I think they all seem to have knowledge somehow, but I think the knowledge comes from when they look you in the eyes. Somehow they're able to read your mind. Or something
like Vigo and Ghostbusters. I hate to do stupid comparisons, but like when Vigo looks inside Ray's eyes and he can kind of control Ray for a second. I think that's the same thing. They can sort of read your emotions and read your feelings in those moments, and then play you like they're playing a game of poker there against you, or a game of let me in. Oh, come on, just
Yeah, I think it's something to do with that. That's the way I would see it. You know what I mean?
This is area code 708.
Hey, this is Eileen from Chicago. I was calling because I was wondering what you thought about the one theory regarding it possibly being dimensional, because it does have that kind of atmosphere with the trees. So I'm thinking maybe more, multi-dimensional type character, or a type situation rather.
Yeah, I could see this. Like we said, pocket dimension, multi-dimensional, alternate dimension. You know what I mean? I could definitely see it being something like that. You know, that they're stuck somewhere in there. And I do think that the globe, we showed the globe earlier, the picture of the globe on here, could mean something. I mean, they didn't put it in there. The pictures are not on. But as I said, I don't think they're going to get an answer to every picture in this season. I think they're going to answer maybe 2 pictures every season or something like that. But that's definitely a very good theory. I could dig it.
I like that. Hungry Borgs, man. I like that. But that I want to mod a Hungry Hippo set to Hungry Borgs. This is area code 248, and everyone, thank you so much for all the calls tonight. We really do appreciate it, and all the awesome chat and the debate and funny comments.
Oh yeah, no, listen, I love the debate. I love the funny comments. Y'all can say whatever you
This
want.
is a good one.
It's-
Tony, do you stretch before you do all this reaching? LOL. Totally not aliens. That's in good humor. That's a good
Yeah,
humor.
that's fine. I'm cool
That's
with it, man. I'm cool with it. I don't know if I'm right, but I think I am. And y'all better hope that I'm not, motherfuckers.
Oh
y'all
yeah,
better
I
hope.
hope you're. I so hope.
Oh my God, you
Oh.
better hope that I'm not, because I have all your names down. I have all of that, and I'm telling you,
You have the chat history.
Oh, I'm going to roast you. I'm going to roast you really bad. You better hope that I'm not right, because I'm coming for you. I'm going to roast you. Fire and blood. I'm coming.
Fire and blood. Okay, here we go. This is area code 248.
Hi, it's Tanisha again. Sorry for calling. I just got one last question, then I'll stop. When Sarah was like episode 9, when she was hearing the voices, well, I think she did his wife. So that means the people that died, they stuck there too, right? And so do you think, like, because I think when Jim do the radio tower, I have a feeling he might get in contact with the people that died. Like, he might not get in contact with the outside, whatever. I think he might get in contact with the people that's there. Like, I think even the spirits are trapped there too. Because it's crazy how she heard his wife and she died. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? All right, y'all have a good day. Well, good.
So we've talked a lot about not thinking. Great call. We talked a lot about how we didn't think, or I didn't think, that it was his wife. Could it be his wife? Could they be? Could the dead people fall into the hive mind situation here? And then when the radio and to go on this theory, the radio tower, they somehow connect to the dead.
I don't think that it's his wife. I just think that they use that as just to explain why him and his son. They had to explain why him and his son doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Right. These are things you have to clear up before the season's over. So they had to show the whole situation, which I will say 100% to all you people haters out there, that I predicted the whole exact scene and that he killed his wife. You could go and watch my video that I put out there and said this is the reason why they don't talk. So y'all should know that the dinos we were talking about, all right? But I don't think it. I think that they just are able to, they know things about people. They heard that and they just used it against him to try to get him from going where he was going. Me more than anything else. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So that's what I think. Now, could it be that they are stuck there? Maybe, but I think that really was just they just showed that because they had to show exactly why him and his son weren't talking.
Absolutely. I agree with that as well. And this is area code 331.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Do you guys think that Ethan is like explaining the whole show? Because I remember in the last episode he mentioned that they're on a quest. Could that possibly, I'm thinking like something like a game like the World of Warcraft, where they are experiencing different creatures and different realms and stuff like that they can possibly go to? What do you guys think?
Ethan's creepy. He's hanging out in Baron's chat, going running through, going screaming, raiding. It's I think Ethan's a little creepy, but what do you think of what the caller said? This leads into it all being a game of some sort.
I just don't want it to be. Me personally, I'd still watch it though if it was, but I just don't. The fact that they brought the whole thing up with Jade and the whole, I just don't think it is for that reason. I don't think they bring that up and then all of a sudden say, you and Jade was right the whole time. I just don't think they do.
One of the aliens runs through going, Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, I just don't think that it'll be. I mean, if you want to say like it's the stories that he's telling about the lonely dragon, all those things have something to deal with. And it's, the biggest story thing he said about the lonely dragon was that, they had to find some type of, he gave them the key or something. That's how they were able to get out. That was a map. that was in there, and that's how they were able to escape when they finally found this map. And that was it. And that was a big story, but it was a collection of things that nobody wanted anymore. And you could say that it could be a situation that these people are people that nobody wanted anymore, and there are a collection of them all in there. It could be a situation like that, but I would say it's more of the stories that he's telling that's going to explain everything there.
Just on a basic level, do you know what I love about this show? I think some shows fall in the trap of setting up mysteries and they're not prepared for it before it starts out. At least it feels like everything that's being created on screen is very controlled and that they know where they're going with this in a sense, compared to other sort of what's happening kind of things. So whatever it ends up being, and I know some people in the chat don't want it to be aliens. Tony, you're saying in some ways you don't want it to be a game or something like that. Like, but it all is going to come down to how it's done. I think even if it's not what you want it to be, it's not necessarily what the outcome of these things are. I think in some ways, wouldn't the best outcome be none of us are right? It's none of this shit, and it's something that none of us have even mentioned. And Tony comes out here and says he's wrong. Everyone in the chat comes out wrong. We come out after episode 10, or a couple seasons down the road, we're like, whoa! They made it something I couldn't even have guessed what it is, and that's the fun of it. And I just have to, lick the balls of this show a little bit in the sense to say that it's able to create this. It's not easy to do this right now and get a show where you really organically raise these questions that everything people are suggesting. We're saying it, repeating a lot. That's a possibility too, because they've set up an environment in the show where that's all pretty much everything is. I don't want to be like destroy it, but let's get back to arguing about it. Fuck you, it's not aliens, it's aliens. but really, it's awesome that they set up this environment to have these kind of arguments because it's a show that does have that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It would be best if nobody was right and they were able to do something else. That would be best. Yeah. I would want that to be the way it is. But as for the trees, knowing their consciousness, I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. I don't see that at all being a factor in it. I think we haven't seen anything that depicts that in there, that the trees are what knows. It's not that. It's what we see is the crows
it's
and
the
these
children
monsters.
Of the forest again, Tony. It's those it's those little
bastards.
Bastards.
That's what it is. It's got nothing to. The trees are just transportation devices that really are technology that are transporting people around. There's no magic. There's no hocus pocus in this tree that you step inside of it and poof, you're gone. There's none of that. That's everything is being done by technology. It's a technology, more people, more advanced, and that's what's going on here.
Tony, we talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago, I believe, but I wish they'd trap one of them with the talisman in a room and see what happens in the morning. Yeah. Will they, by the end of this season, trap a monster?
Not by the end of the season, but they're going to have to capture one of these monsters.
I agree.
That's how you figure out exactly what's going on. You capture one of these monsters and you figure this whole situation out. That's what you want to need to do. And that's what's going to happen. Eventually they will. I don't think they'll do it this season, most likely next season. I mean, look how long it took Game of Thrones and them to capture a white, They captured a white first, and it didn't work, and they did it again, and the second time it worked.
And it only took them a day to walk back with it, though.
Yeah, real fast. They got back there, so they were in a faraway tree. Probably that's probably why. You know what I mean?
Finally, it's funny how a show like this gives us more clues to Game of Thrones. They use far. We've always said the little finger warping device, but it's actually there's faraway trees in the Game of Thrones universe.
Yeah, so I don't think it's anything like that when it comes down to trees or anything like that. And listen. If it is, then it is. But I don't.
Just Archangel, just to answer this question, trees teleporting people seems more mysticism than it does science to me. If we're going by the comparison towards Lost did this a lot in the sense of the Dharma Initiative made things look naturey that were really like technological, like easy ways of you just put some bushes to hide an entrance into a cave that ends up being like a way station that has computers and shit like that there. So it could be exactly what you say, that trees seems more mysticism, or it could be that whoever set up this universe or this area using the trees as in a science fiction way and just setting up the transport devices within the trees. It honestly could go either direction in that.
It's not magic that's turning these lights on in the town. It's not magic. There's not a wand. This is not Harry Potter. All right. There's no wands. You know, it's not going on. That's not what's turning on the lights in this town. It's a technology that they're going to find when they reach the bottom of this hole that's doing all this stuff. That's what it is. It's not magic. You know, even when you look at Doctor Strange in the Marvel MCU and they show he's doing magic, when they really show what it really is he's tapping into powers from other dimensions and using it in his own. It's not magic.
No,
it's not magic, right? They always the saying goes, magic is science that has not been explained yet. So it looks like magic because it's a science you don't know the technology that's behind it to communicate. So it seems like magic.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going on here with everything. When you look at the Rainbow Bridge, they used it right for Thor and them to transported them. Oh, you could transport. It's not a goddamn bridge. It's a wormhole that has rainbows. But they didn't have a word of wormhole back then, so they said bridge because that's what they knew, something that connected one thing to another. Just like when the chariots of the gods, when they said they seen God come down in a flying chariot, they didn't have a word for spaceships. There was no word spaceship. Only thing they knew that transported people was a chariot. So they called it a flying chariot instead of a spaceship. That's what's going on here in this situation. It's not hocus pocus, boom, you vanish here, you vanish there. It's not that. It's a technology that hasn't been discovered yet.
Yeah,
and eventually you will.
There's a really good episode of or not good, but it's a decent episode of Star Trek Next Generation where they encounter, and I mentioned this before, they encounter a creature that is sort of robbing different lesser alien races with using technology and pretending it's magic and like she's a god creature. So she like robs them of their riches and goes planet to planet. And then Picard kind of challenges it by doing the same thing and pretending he's a god to go off of that. I do want to mention this what Buffed Up said, because it's one of the few things about this episode we haven't talked about quite yet. You talk a little bit about it in the video, but what do you think the bottles meant? Why? Because I know what you think they mean in a way of like symbolism from the writers and telling us what's going on in the show. But in the universe of the show, why were the creatures fucking with Sarah at that point in time and didn't want Boyd to get those bottles? What do you think the meaning?
I don't know if it was after the bottles or they didn't want them to go beyond that point.
Oh, it could be that too. Yeah, it's like the bottles symbolize the point.
Yeah, that was the point. Like right then, like the people who put those things in the bottle, maybe that's as far as they got, and they put them up there. They're turned back. I think they were just trying to get them to turn back more than they didn't care about what was inside the bottles, because he said that what was in the bottles just dates. It was a different date every time, and that was it. You know what I mean? So I think it was just them trying to get them to turn back more than anything.
Gilly Boat says the bottles represent an alcoholic parent who caused a tragic death because of drunk. And I know I know. I wish he didn't use Doctor Strange as an example.
It's the truth. That's what they do. Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange is supposed to be full of magic, right? It's magic, but they really realize it's not magic. He's taking powers from dimensions and just using it in this world. But they call it magic because there's no other word for it. They're not going to go through it.
So the big question I have to ask going into this final episode, we're treading around this question all night, is we're going into a final episode of a season of a show that we haven't had an announcement for season 2. So does the show creator go into this final episode when they plot out this season gambling? Or does he try to conclude something in a way that it could stand alone as an episode that could end the series if they didn't? I think they're going to get more seasons, but do we get a conclusive-y kind of could be the series finale if it could be kind of episode? Or do we get one that if Epix drops the ball here, we're all going to be pissed off to never get any answers, and it's going to
Never. I think that's it. She's gonna gamble with it. It's the same thing. What show was that? Flash Forward. I don't know if you ever seen that. Right, that was a really good show. But that show even shows you how they gave away way too much in that one episode season. They gave away way too much. They shouldn't have gave away all that stuff. But I think they gamble. We just don't get it and stuff like that. But as for Archangel, is all those dates USO sightings the one that they actually showed? The one that was in the bottle with Boyd and they brought up? Yes, that is a famous UFO sighting on that day. They found aliens on that day. So yes, the one that they showed, I don't know about all of them, but I know that the one that they showed with the date with Boyd and the one that was carved there definitely was. The other ones could just be throwaway ones, but I know that that one was without a shadow of a doubt. So that's all I can give you. Thank you for the super chat, Ladybug. Truly appreciate it. After Lost, I didn't want to wait 3 to 5 seasons for answers. If they don't stick the landing of it, you have to. I mean, that's what a show is. If you want all the answers in one sitting, then you got to go watch a movie. That's what movies do, right? A movie will give you everything in 2 hours. You get start to finish. You have it all. That's what a movie is. But a TV show is meant for you to flesh things out over years of time. That's just what a TV. That's why you go to TV show when you have such a big story that you want to tell. You can't do it in 2 hours. You do it on TV. So I don't want you to be disappointed that you're not going to get all the answers.
It's tough though. In defense of Ladybug, because I agree with you, Tony. But in defense, anything that is the compliments that we're giving this show, or I'm giving it when I'm saying Lost, like I'm picking the things about Lost that were great about Lost. The way they focus on characters, the way they create a sense of mystery in all these things. The problem with the Lost phenomenon, even if you think it was all right, people did wait 3 to 5 years for answers that they didn't want. So there's a post-traumatic Lost disorder. So people are seeing Lost in this, so they're starting to be like, I don't want, not this again. I don't want to get into this just to be disappointed. I don't think this is Lost. This is people with the pedigree from Lost that are going to coming into it with the focus to do it better. I think we are going to get more answers that lead to more questions in a similar way, but I think it's all going to be a more organized story. It feels like they have a story here. Like, again, I said it earlier and I'm projecting a little bit, but a 5-6 season story that they want to tell here, and hopefully that they'll get it. It's I sense a Vince Gilligan-ness about all of this. Like, we have a story we want to tell. This is what we need. They're not going to stretch this. They're not going to milk this. You're not going to see spin-offs of this and all this sort of shit. This is a story that they want to tell. And
listen, I guarantee, listen, when the episode airs, we're back doing a live stream after this episode. No matter what it shows, we're going to do a live stream on it. And then we're going to go into, even in the off season, I'm still going to be doing live streams. I'll still be dropping videos of predictions of what I think is going to happen in the second season. I'll be doing all those things. So don't just like when the season's over, just like go away or anything. We'll still be holding it down for this and everything else. And we'll see where it goes and we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? Whether it goes this way or this way, we'll see how it goes. We're going to I'm on this ride no matter what, no matter where it goes. And that's just the bottom line and stuff like that. So we'll see exactly what happens. We answered this question again earlier, but we'll take it. It says, what if the whole Tabitha has been digging leads her to Victor? That just doesn't seem like it fits her arc.
Victor's sitting in there like, oh.
Yeah. From everything that we've seen, her arc is dealing with her dead child and coming to grips with that. So I think it has to lead to something dealing with it. I don't see any other arc for her in this without that. That has to be it. So I can't see it being anything else. But I got to get up out of here. I got to work in the morning. We dropped 2 hours for y'all tonight. You know what I mean? As always, thank you guys for the super chat. Thanks y'all for joining us. As always, thank Phil for rocking with me.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll be back next week for the season finale. You know what I mean? So we'll see if I can get back. We'll see if I can. We'll see what's going on. Maybe Friday I'll be able to come on again. Day before, maybe Saturday, maybe a pre-show before it drops. I'll be able to do something for you. I can't guarantee it, so I don't want to say it, but I definitely will be here for it as soon as it ends next week. You know what I mean? I'll drop my video and everything else like that. So there's also coming chocolate. I like that.
Mhm.
All right, Phil, let the people know what you're up to.
Thank you much, Tony. Coming up soon, the final season of Better Call Saul. I just did the season finale of The Walking Dead, and I'm done with that. This coming Sunday, Joe and I will be on doing a little bit of a preview of The Walking Dead and talking about a couple of other random shows. But the next show we're doing over there is Better Call Saul. Those will be Monday evenings at around 10 I think it's 10 p.m. Or it might be 11 p.m. Monday evenings, late night after Better Call Saul airs live, we'll be talking about it. So if you're going to be watching the final season, and then after that, talking about Ozark, the last part of the final season of that, which will be done at the end of April. So make sure you subscribe, Phil the Issues Guy, to check out that stuff if you want to hear my kind of BS.
Definitely subscribe to Phil the Issues Guy. We'll be
and you'll
back.
see Tony over there too, and we'll be.
Yep, I'm over there, so you'll see us all back. We'll be back here next week to wrap this up. We'll see how this ends. We'll see. If you like what I do, is please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.